So Denadai Dennis, 7:49, wins that by 0.3 of a second. So Devon Franklin, 7:38, is the best by that 11 hundredths over our winner of the final heat. So Franklin will be in lane 5 for the final.
Where's Tim? Where's Tim? Okay.
It's time for the men's 60-meter dash prelims. You see the lineup for heat number 1.
Tim.
And 7 heats. Once again, the 9 fastest in the prelims will come back for the final. The national lead in the men's 60, Texas Tech's Dondre Swint, 6:52. Just absolutely smoking that straightaway for the Red Raider. The facility record here, Asafa Powell's 6:54 from 2016. And just about half the field, in fact, half the field, coming to this race with seed times in the 6-second range. As Jermaine Dykes from South Florida, 6:68, he's the man in lane 5. He has run this distance about 0.2 of a second faster than everyone else in the field. Finally getting in the gear and wins it by about a stride and a half. 6:85. And second is Gabriel Lewis from St. Joe's at 7:03. So 6:85, the number on the board to beat in these 7 heats of the men's 60-meter dash. Heat number 2 getting their starting blocks in the right place. Agbor, Burgess, Williams, Pond, Jones, Wilson, Yarte, Burrell, and Moyer. The state of Louisiana dominating the middle of the track on this one. Pond runs for Louisiana, as does Jones, while Tavis Wilson runs for Northwestern State. They're in lanes 4, 5, and 6. And a clean start. Once again, the sprinters from Louisiana in the middle of the track. And it's going to be Louisiana, then Northwestern State. So Jones with the win at 6:85. Then it's going to be Wilson next at 6:89. The man with the win not happy with that 6:85. And Jones, the senior, also will be running the 200 today, but that's 6.85 should be able to get him also in the 60 dash final. Good start, all 9 lanes filled. And the guys from Florida in the middle of the track. Into the mats hard. And Lincoln at 687 with the victory. South Florida goes 1-2, Pettigrew at 696. So they replaced the very thick, bulky high jump and pole vault mats with much more, let's say, aerodynamic and easy to put into place with Velcro. Mats that the sprinters and hurdlers slam into on the run up the banking.
All Stonehill men's high jumpers, please report back to the high jump. Stonehill men's high jumpers, please report back to the event. Thank you.
We are right in the middle, heat number 4 of 7. Open lane 1, but then it's Aleo, Schlotterbeck, Sweeney, Drakes, Murphy, McGrail, and Manti. And a great start in 5. That is Noah Sweeney, but the man with the speed is Carl Drakes from Coppin State. Drakes at 692. Sweeney had the good start, but finishes second at 7:01. Not certain if that's going to get him to the final or not with 7 heats. Probably not. But Carl Drakes from Coppin State, the senior, also going to run the one-lapper later on today. Heat number 5 of 7. Lanes 2 through 9 this time around. McQuid from Boston College, Paul Hamus from Stonehill, Laurent from New Haven, Sosu from CPTC, Central Park Track Club Tracksmith. He's credited with a 671 performance over this distance. Gary Monroe, Louisiana. Daryl George Jr. from New Orleans. Brandon Williams from Ryder. And Alex Collins from Merrimack. Heat number 5. And a good start. And getting their first 5 and 6. So the Ragin' Cajuns have a chance to get a win here. The time 6:87. And that is the Ragin' Cajun. Gary Monroe from Louisiana, 6'87", there he is. And Brian Sosu from Central Park Track Club is going to finish second at 6'89". Those two under 6'9", they should be back for the final as we get set for heat number 6. Looking at a full track, lanes 1 through 9 on the infield at the track and tennis center. You are watching live coverage of this year's Bruce Lehane Scarlet and White Invite. Longtime coach of the Terriers, honored with one of the neat meets here in the indoor season, named after him. So heat 6, we have Nigel Green in 1, Nathan Storrs 2, Franco Recto, Christopher Lytle, John Adasola, Lionel Matibe, Giovanni Parkinson, Evan Imasogi, and Jace Walls.
Hey, do any of y'all have a band?
And the middle of the track is
band?
empty, so 1 to 4
Do y'all have
and
any bands?
6 to 9.
A band?
And on the inside, that is Nigel Green. The post collegiate goes 694.
You have one?
He runs for the Blueprint Track Club. He's also going to be in the 200 later today. And I believe in college he ran for Central Connecticut as we get set for the 7th and final heat.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Southern Connecticut. And then finished up at Tennessee. So he'd run 689 in the 60 before, but was a 20.7 200 performer. Seventh and final heat. And we're filled with all 9 lanes. Smith, Peterson, Glass, Booth, Hammond, Favor, Beto, Wadley, and McNair. The 9 fastest over these previous 6 heats in this one will advance to the final. Good start in 2, Adam Peterson from St. Joe's. But the winner will be out of lane 5, Solomon Hammond from Coppin State, 6.76. So save the best for last is 6.76.
Second call, 400.
For Hammond from Coppin State. It's time to head out to the oval. The women's 500 meters next, live on FloTrack. It's the 500 meters, definitely a specialty of the indoor menu. The facility record, Carly Mascaro from Merrimack, 109.05. 7 years ago in 2017.
First call, women's shot put.
The current national leader in the women's 500 is Isabella Whitaker. If you were with us a week ago, you saw that young lady run a great 400, a PR, and also at the time a world number 2. She is the national lead in the 500, 2.5 laps around the BU track at 1:11.12. And she ran that on the banked oval down at the Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland. And we are ready to go. Heat number 1 of 6 total. And on the outside, in lane 6 from Harvard, Victoria Basong has one of the top times in the collegiate ranks this year. Definitely pushing the pace. They will be in lanes all the way until they hit the cones at the start of the back straightaway. Then they will break for the rail. And she is in the lead. The junior from Harvard, up by 3 meters. Right now coming up to the bellow, and contact between our leader and the number 2 runner. So that was Gia Trevisan running unattached. And it's amazing that neither of them fell to the track, but definitely affected the overall time. Hopefully no one's injured as a result of this, but here comes Trevisan trying to pull in Basong. This time they will go separate lanes to the finish. And the winner, it's going to be Trevisan. 1:11.37. With Basong at 1:11.40. So that's the times to beat in these 6 heats of the women's 500. Well, I've mentioned many times, indoor track definitely is a contact sport with, even at these sprint distances, runners not in lanes as they would be outdoors over a 400 or 200. Well, excuse me, over a 400. 200 definitely is lanes all the way here, indoors as well as out. So heat number 2, once again, started on the far side of the track and tennis center. There is our lineup. Now the time by Basong is now the number 2 time in the collegiate ranks. She had run 1:11.84 earlier this year. She cuts her time down by 0.4 of a second. But Whitaker from fellow Ivy League school Penn still in the lead at 1:10.12. And we'll see them break at the cones for the rail. The sisters from Yale, 1-2 right now. Victoria and Gloria Guerrier. And it's 41 and change with 1 to go. Trying to close Bethany Duluth, running unattached in the number 3 spot, but losing ground down the back straight. It is Guerrier and Guerrier fighting. They're going to take this one, the sisters, to the line, but here comes Bethany Duluth from Rhode Island. Excuse me, from Rhode Island. And she's going to pull around and pick up the win. 113.11. And it looks like Duluth had lost contact with about 150 remaining, but then going into the final turn was able to pull on the young ladies from Yale and picked up the win by 0.3. And we're underway with heat number 3. Kimberly Johnson, Rachel Thomas, Bridget Batu, and Nicole Dunbury representing St. Joe's, UMass Lowell, Yale, and Northeastern. And Bridget Batu, a 1:14.7 500 runner. You see her in the lead, out in 5. That is the preferred sprint lane around this 200 banked oval, a permanent banking. Many of the indoor facilities are hydraulic banked, so the banking can go up and down as a run out for the sprints. As 42 mid, Bridget Batu, the junior from Yale. In second, that's Nicole Dunbury trying to hold off Kimberly Johnson from St. Joe's. They're side by side down the back straight, trying to close the gap on Bridget Batu from Yale. Johnson, the junior at St. Joseph's, is closing. Here she comes. Kimberly Johnson to the line.
Keep coming, keep coming.
And it looks like Batu might have been able to hold her off. We will see here in a moment, and she did by 0.08 of a second. 1:15.39. Johnson second at 1:15.47. And heat number 4, all 5 athletes on the track. Isom, Westowski, Federico, Derek Bain, and Howard. And in the outside lanes representing the Great Danes of Albany, that's Derek Bain and Howard, but Sydney Federico from Rhode Island is going to be one of those 3 battling for the inside position. And that's going to remain in the hands of Lola Isom from Yale. And it's going to be a dogfight over the final 243 high for Isom, with Federico behind her in second and 2 others right another stride back. Out in the lane 2, making the pass, Sydney Federico. Running for the Rams of Rhode Island, her only individual event today. Can she hold off Bernicia Derek Bain from Albany? Here they come down the straight. Final 20, and the winner is Sydney Federico from Rhode Island. Heat number 5. Everybody who's supposed to be on the oval in their lanes. That's Kaylee Lane, Allison McCarthy, Brittany Westbury, Callista Mayer, and Tanisha Patil, running for Merrimack, Connecticut, Northeastern, and Brown. And inside, outside, that is Kayla Lane from Merrimack right now running away with this 500 through the opening lap. Closest to her, Tanisha Patil from Brown. And they'll be side by side through the line. 1 lap to go with 44 low as Patil takes the lead. She is a freshman for the Ivy League school from Providence. And she's opened up a sizable gap with 100 meters to go. Tanisha Patil from Brown. Running for home and the heat victory in heat number 5. Her time in the 1:16s. 1:16.41 for the winner.
This is your first call for declarations in the 800.
Sixth and final heat underway. On the outside, Camille Burton from St. Joseph's. Beside her, Madeline Abiga from South Florida. And on the inside, Thalia Benoit from Albany. We'll see which one of those three gets the rail first. And with the big quick turn, that was Camille Burton from St. Joseph's. Came down quickly on Benoit from Albany, who was in two and had a very short distance to get to the rail. But now it's a group of four.
There you go, Camille.
And Camille Burton from St. Joe's, the junior, in the lead and brings Madeline Abiga from South Florida with her. Abiga right on the shoulder of Burton going into the final 100. She makes the pass. Madeline Abiga from South Florida. 50 to go. And here comes Thalia Benoit from Albany. She's not going to be able to get there in time. So the winner, Madeline Abiga from South Florida. All right, that wraps up the women's 500, which got off to a very interesting start with some contact between the leaders. And Gia Treviza gets the win. Time for the men to contest the 2.5 laps. The facility record, 1 flat .73 by Taj Burgess from Rutgers. He ran that in 2020. 7 heats. The national lead in the men's 500 is Caleb McRae from Alabama at 101.07. And we're rolling. The lineup: Peter Diebold from Harvard, Jalen Bennett from Phillips Exeter. The high school academy running strong in 4. And then Nathaniel Vigo Catala, New England Elite, and Colin Quinn right on his shoulder currently. He runs for Yale. And they go through 336 low. 1 lap to go. Quinn's in the perfect position. Just a stride plus back. Here he goes to the outside, trying to pull on Catala, but not able to get it done. Diebold from Harvard in 3rd, and they've gained some separation over the young man Jalen Bennett from Phillips Exeter. To the line, going wire to wire. Catala with the win at 103.07. And heat number 2 of the men's 500. He is working it into the turn. They will reach the cones and break for the rail. Dartmouth's Mason Childers. He's on the outside in 6. He's got the lead and the advantage. And in the #1 spot through 200 meters. Childers is a junior. 37 low as he leads Luke Noss from St. Joseph's and Basit Idris from UMass Lowell. The whole field is right there. It's a 2 from St. Joe's in second and third, trying to pull on Childers. It's going to be 4 wide for home. And it looked like the winner is Darren Kamoff from St. Joe's, 105.10 with Childers 1500s back. So he was able to slingshot off the far turn and picked up the win in heat number 2. Heat 3, Lycan, Bourne, Jarrett, Farr, and Levy. With 2 from Ryder, 2 from the Ivy League, and Michael Bourne, the current leader from South Florida.
Like the 500. A little different, huh? It's a great event.
And a sizable advantage for Bourne. The junior,
You were 38 seconds at
36 low.
You had to be close to
Looking
50
very strong. Michael Bourne the third. We'll see how he holds it together over the final 200.
Hey, guys.
They're lined up single file down the back straight, just a couple strides between each of them. As Levy moved up into the #4 spot and goes out into lane 3. And he's going to finish second, but the winner going wire to wire, Michael Bourne. 104.63. And I mentioned the meets that are named after legends here in track and field at Boston University. Bruce Lehane, longtime coach. John Thomas, last week's meet, the first man ever to clear 7 feet indoors. Sharon Collier, Danville. A great here at BU, and we see the banners there honoring each of those individuals. And one more next week. The David Hemery Valentine Invitational honoring the 400-meter hurdler. And coming up to the line.
Here we go, Regent.
That is Darian Mills from South Florida. With George Mason's Makai Lewis. And from Harvard, Ruben Henry Dare. Henry Dare out into 2, fighting for every inch, but not able to make it. Darian Mills with the win. 103.85, nice run with Henry Dare back 1500s at 104 flat. Going to line up for heat number 5. And it looks like we have a recall there and 1 scratch at least. And a teaching moment for one of our starters. Moving right along with today's Bruce Lehane Scarlet and White. The lineup is Lewis Warner from Stonehill in 2, and then out in 4, 5, and 6, Sigalov, Polizzi, and Winslow running for Boston College, George Mason, and St. Joseph's. It's a man from BC, Jackson Sigalov. In front. Coming down the home stretch as George Mason's Nathan Polizzi working the arms hard down the back straight. He is now in front. Sigalov and Warner the closest as Lewis Warner from Stonehill moves into second. And going to move out into lane 2. Try to make the pass, pull in the young man from George Mason, but it is Nathan Polizzi from George Mason with the win. 105.64. And we're underway with heat number 6, lanes 2 through 6. Again, the preferred lane in lane races or in the sprints is lane 5. And that's Jabari Harif. He runs for Albany from the American East Conference. And he's in the lead right now, but is he able to get to the rail? He pulls that off. And he's going to be chased into the turn for the second time. Jake Haley from Brown, and Haley at the start-finish line takes the lead in a very slam-the-door type of pass. Haley, a freshman from Brown, scheduled to come back in the 800 in the final 100, and in this half-kilometer race, he's pulling away from the field. 106.82 is a number next to his name for this distance, and he's going to run better than that today. Jake Haley from Brown, the win.
That's so funny. I recognized Katie as your daughter and somehow thought he was.
7th and final heat. There are the combatants.
I had 106.9, so it's going to be 7-1 again.
And it's a good start. Domingo, Hickey, Wing, Coleraine, and Ford. With Stephen Colleran from Boston College. He's followed to the brake line, the cones that is, by Jackson Domingo from Stonehill, but he's slipped back now to the 3rd position as Colleran from Boston College, 37 high through 300. $10 meters between 1st and 2nd. Stephen Colleran. And coming up for 2nd, that is Matthew Wing, but Colleran's going to finish in the 105s. 105.41 with Wing from Brown in the number 2 spot. Next up on the track, actually on the infield, the hurdle finals live on FloTrack.
No, I like that a lot better than this section. Which also means since the 200 is probably a better race for you than the 60, if you do it smart. As far as what, the UCAC? Yeah, but you're supposed to be, because a 60 is a 200 is more than 3 times as long as a 60. So being spread it is, if you're off by 09 in the 60, you should be off by 0.3 or 0.4 in the 200. Just go use, and by the way, this is not known as, it's faster than it used to be. The infield is not known as a 60 foot. They races are fast, 200 plus. People run 20 points and 21s all the time. It's this track. When I talk about how fast it is, that's not known to be like death slow, but it's not known to be super fast. It's this track because it's bouncy boards the whole way around.
It's just when I run the 200, it's just so much longer to where I do more damage.
You don't have to. It's not like a rule. I'm gonna look it up in the NCAA manual. I don't think it says fetus and dumb shit. What Coach Harrison think about it? I hate the word fall apart. We tightened up.
All women in the 400, please report for hit numbers. Women 400, hit numbers.
I'm less giving than that. Tell you cost, I can't tell you cost just 10. 10 is a lot. So what's the next event after that 500? We're going back to the infield. We're going back to the infield. 11-10 women's hurdles. Oh, please go. 152. So you've got 2.5 hours. Stop. Good. You get some cool down. Little jog and some stretching, rolling. Start to get that out of your head.
Right. 60 felt good.
Good. Looked a lot better than it's been looking.
Yeah, getting used to it. I don't think I'm gonna race much for that.
What about you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, am I gonna run the 60? 7-0.
Well, you don't need 2 weeks. If you race next week, you'll have 2 weeks between that week and the conference. I'll go over to this church now. It's one of those things. Actually, Princeton sprint tour is at 60 weeks from that one. Yeah, you got one. Only 9 ahead. It's only like 17 days. And that's why she takes it. The leads on the Saturday conference it used to be Saturday and Sunday. So you could run Princeton on Sunday at 6 days a week. Now our conference is Friday and Saturday. So you run Princeton on Sunday.
We travel Thursday.
You get out of there around 4:30 and
It's like the same. It's like the same.
early busing and nice job.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Saturday, February 3rd, we're here for the 2024 Bruce Lehane Scarlet and White Invitational here at Boston University. Next event on the infield will be the women's 60-meter hurdle final. And here are your lane assignments. In lane 1 from Albany, Antoinette Galloway. Lane 2 from Northeastern, Dominique Byron. Lane 3 from Ryder, Mariah Stevens. Lane 4 from UMass Lowell, Alexandria Grasso. Lane 5 running unattached, Miriam Abdul Rashid. And lane 6 from Harvard, Fabiola Malibi. Lane 7 from Connecticut, Aaliyah Thomas. Lane 8 running unattached, Grace Laxton. And in the outside lane 9 from Louisiana, Kennedy London. Women's 60-meter hurdle final.
Until the girls get here, and I'll text you.
And we're back just in time for the start of the women's 60-meter hurdle final. Galloway, Baran, Stevens, Grasso, Abdul Rashid, Balibi, Thomas, Claxton, and London. A scratch out in 8. Grace Claxton not coming back for the final. An opportunity for a facility record and a false start. We'll see if anybody gets a red card here as the starters put their thoughts together, see what I saw, what you saw. And walking back down the lane 1, yellow card to Antoinette Galloway from Albany. Started to say that the facility record 8:21 by Monique Morgan in 2015 definitely at risk. Miriam Abdul Rashid ran 8:28 in the prelims. And a clean start and a good one for Abdul Rashid. Clean through 3, 4, 5 to the line. And she's going to get herself a new facility record, 8.17 seconds. So a new facility record for that lady. Takes down a 9-year-old record.
Facility record by Monique Morgan of short AC from 2015 was 8.21 seconds. So congratulations there to Miriam Abdul Rashid with a new Austin University facility record.
Mom. Heat 5, lane 5. Oh wow. 5-5. I also never jump. Thank you. Huh? I went in third. I know. Oh. I'll take it. I mean, whatever. I really want to do well on that. Alec gave me the option to not run. Probably shouldn't have, but.
Next event on the infield, the men's 60-meter hurdle final. Lane assignments here in lane 1 from Ryder, Kaya Simpson. Lane 2 from George Mason, Dean Johnson. Lane 3 from New Orleans, Joran Bang. Lane 4 from Ryder, Marquise.
And it's time for the men's 60-meter hurdle final. They're still making the adjustments on hurdle height placement and also the counterweight adjustment that's in the base of the hurdles to make certain if there is contact, excuse me, by the runner, that the hurdle responds appropriately in pushing down toward the track surface. So one record in the books already today. The facility record in the men's high, 771. And no one in the final field ran in the sevens.
I told her about my shoes. She's like, thank you. She's like, no, it's fine. I didn't mind getting them. I was going that way. Hey, sir. She's like, sir, you had to grab my shoes. My mom yelled at me. Well, I had to go. So
All right, it's time for the, again, men's 60 hurdle final.
What were you saying?
As our top qualifier, Tyler Drew from South Florida, makes one last run out. And the field will have one scratch. So it's Simpson in 1, Johnson in 2. They run for Ryder and George Mason. Marquez Merriweather in 4 from Ryder. Tyler Drew, South Florida, he ran 8:04. The best time by 200s over Antoine Masato from Albany. He is to his right in 6. John Ely, Merrimack, Taj Morris, Northwestern State, and Carl Gaines from Connecticut. The men's 60-meter hurdle final.
You can't check them out now unless you talk to them. But it's fine.
And it's a good start for Drew in 5, but a very tight race. Oh, he hits 4 hard and goes down. And again, in the men's 60-meter hurdles or highs or the 110s, that can happen as Masato goes 7.99. He's celebrating. Drew, a hard fall after crashing hurdle number 4. So the benefactor of that definitely is Antoine Masato. He runs 7.99 for the win. And just the nature of the beast of the 60-meter high hurdles indoors. And we'll get the infield cleaned off coming back for the 60-meter dash.
Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3.
Our section's all the way down there. Like it's the second to last one back there.
Oh, okay. I mean, if we really wanted to sit down over there until you start jumping.
It might be.
Oh, well.
I'm starting right here. Over there. Go like that.
I love watching them run together.
Nah, bro, I do. That motherfucker won't eat.
Right. They suck eat.
One thing open up that gap, it's over with.
Okay.
Hey, there it goes.
You know, I actually coming out of nowhere. That first lap hit.
So with that scratch by our top qualifier, Devon Franklin, she's running the 400. So Dennis with the win. She ran 7:49 to match her performance from the prelims. Wins that one by 13 hundredths. Next up, the men's 60-meter hurdle, dash final. In the middle of the track, Solomon Hammond from Coppin State is 676. As the men get situated and get their starting blocks adjusted.
All men in the 400, please report for hip numbers. Men's 400, hip numbers.
It's more severe. So it took 6 to 8 weeks to fully recover. She really couldn't. It was like as it got longer and longer, her stress levels got increased. So because the team doctor was like, don't go back to class until you're symptom free. Well, she was getting.
And it looks like we will have a couple scratches in this final as well. In lane 1 and 2, Carl Drakes from Coppin State. In 2, that's Brian Sosu from Central Park Track Club Tracksmith. In 4, Trejun Jones, Solomon Hammond. He's in lane 5, the top qualifier again, 676. He runs for Coppin State. Out in 7 and 8, Gary Monroe, Louisiana, and Madonna Favor from New Orleans. And a great start, and maybe too good for Trejun Jones. And I am certain, yep, the starter didn't even have to move very far. And he had a fantastic start. And that was a red card, so he is DQ'd. And I'm about 80 meters, away from the starting line, and it was definitely obvious that he had too good of a start.